Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. As the search for MH370 continues, we remain focused on narrowing the search area. With such strong cooperation from our international partners, the challenge is no longer diplomatic. It is now primarily technical and logistical. Because the scale of the investigation is now much more complex, the release of technical and logistical information will be handled differently. As you have seen today, this means that Malaysian Airlines will take the lead in communicating with the families. As the search area has narrowed, new challenges have arisen, including managing resources in a remote search and rescue effort, and we continue to work closely with our friends and partners as we seek to marshal more specific resources in support of the operations in that area. Last night, the Prime Minister announced that according to new analysis of satellite data, Inmarsat and UK Air Accidents Investigation Branch, AIBB, have concluded that flight MH370 ended in the southern Indian Ocean. Today, I will provide further details on how the data was analyzed as provided by us by UK AIB. This information is quite technical in nature, so although I will give you as much information as I can, I will not be in a position to answer questions about the data analysis today. The burst frequency offset changes depending on the location of the aircraft on an arc of possible positions, its direction of travel, and its speed. In order to establish confidence in its theory, Inmarsat checked its predictions using information obtained from 6 other B777 aircraft flying on the same day in various directions. There was good agreement. While on the ground at Kuala Lumpur Airport and during the early stage of the flight, MH370 transmitted several messages. At this stage, the location of the aircraft and the satellite were known, so it was possible to calculate system characteristics for the aircraft, satellite, and the ground station. During the flight, the ground station logged the transmitted and received pulse frequency at each handshake. Knowing the system characteristics and position of the satellite, it was possible, considering aircraft performance, to determine where on each arc the calculated burst frequency offset fits best. The analysis showed poor correlation with the northern corridor, but good correlation with the southern corridor. And depending on the ground speed of the aircraft, it was then possible to estimate the position at 0011 UTC, at which the last complete handshake took place. I must emphasize that this is not the final position of the aircraft. There is evidence of a partial handshake between the aircraft and the ground station at 0019 UTC. At this time, this transmission is not understood and is subject to further ongoing work. No response was received from the aircraft at 0115 UTC, when the ground earth station sent the next log-on, log-off message. This indicates that the aircraft was no longer logged on to the network. Therefore, sometime between 0011 UTC and 0115 UTC, the aircraft was no longer able to communicate with the ground station. This is consistent with the maximum endurance of the aircraft. This analysis by Inmarsat forms the basis for further study to attempt to determine the final position of the aircraft. Accordingly, the Malaysian investigation has set up an international working group comprising of agencies with expertise in satellite communication and aircraft performance to take this work forward. Tetap. Dan kita akan teruskannya bersandarkan kepada kepakaran daripada pakar-pakar daripada pasukan Perancis, dan dalam hal ini saya telah pun berjumpa dengan mereka cara bagaimana dan cabaran yang mereka terpaksa lalui dalam masa 2 tahun mencari kotak hitam yang diperlukan. Maklumat itu telah pun dikongsi bersama dengan kita dan maklumat itu juga dikongsi bersama dengan pasukan-pasukan yang telah kita agihkan tanggungjawab, sama ada ianya berkisar kepada keluarga, sama ada ianya berkisar kepada teknologi untuk mencari di lautan dalam, atau ianya merupakan kepada aset-aset yang lebih sophisticated yang digunakan untuk mencari pesawat Air France yang berkenaan. Dan yang berhubung kait dengan wooden pellets pun, kenyataan saya semalam, kalau lihat kepada statement yang saya buat dan saya quote di sini, we can also confirm that MH370 was carrying wooden pellets. However, there is as yet no evidence that they are related to the wooden pellets reportedly sighted in the Australian search area. Seperti saya sebut tadi, struktur baru yang kita nak lakukan seperti PC yang dibuat oleh MAS tadi, hal-hal yang ada kaitan dengan keluarga akan diberi tumpuan kepada MAS. Tetapi penghargaan dan kenyataan tadi kepada pihak pasukan SAR ini, termasuk mereka yang sedang beroperasi untuk mencari dan insya-Allah menyelamat kalau sekiranya ada mereka yang boleh kita selamatkan, merupakan satu kenyataan yang amat bermakna pada kita. Kita sentiasa telus, kita sentiasa membuat verifikasi dan mengesahkan semua lead yang ada, dan kita konsisten dalam pendirian kita apa jua spekulasi di luar sana, apa jua tuduhan yang dilontarkan terhadap pasukan kita. Kita tidak berganjak kepada fokus utama kita, iaitu untuk mencari pesawat berkenaan. Dan kenyataan tadi membawa erti dan makna yang amat mendalam kepada kita, khusus yang berempat di sini dan ramai lagi di belakang kita, kerana selepas ni banyak lagi kerja yang perlu kita lakukan. Terima kasih.